What's up, y'all? It's Lone Wolf. So today I'm doing a episode on healing animals. Okay, I have experiences in healing horses, dogs, chickens, and cats. And cats are the number one that I come across. Okay, cursed cats. Okay, cursed cats are something that I come across quite a bit in this town that I'm in. This town that I'm in it has a town curse. So this town curse, when cats get cursed, it's very sad. Okay, when any animal gets cursed, it's very sad. And what happens is they will do something and they will set it over the cat as a witchcraft curse, and it affects the cat for the rest of their life. And generally, they have to be maintained in a certain way. Okay, so it ruins this animal's life, and it's really sad. Okay, so what I just got done with tonight was I've come across three cats in this town. One was the first one that I ever came across. Wasn't that bad. It was more of it had a behavioral issue, and I had a hedge of, I think, Luke or Matthew, one of those two, and I basically pet the cat, and the cat would claw the crap out of you and bite you, and it was very ferocious. It didn't bite me at all. It actually came up and rubbed itself on my face and was kind of different. It was actually my girlfriend's sister, I think it was, and the cat was fine. It wasn't abused or anything like that. It just probably had like a rough character. So for some reason, hedges like that will, sometimes it's a certain hedge that you need that will cure a cat from a curse or from behavioral issues. If you're a dog trainer, I recommend that you build a hedge and take 3 years to build it. You'll notice that your career and your craft is a lot more successful if you do it biblically, okay? The second cat that I came across in this town was extremely cursed. I mean, if you don't have a hedge up and you see a cursed cat or you're in a town curse, don't touch the cat. You will get hit with different spells over it. The one I got hit with, one that was like, it felt like I got thrown in a toaster oven for a little while and cooked for a second, because this one was like really bad. Okay, the second cat that I healed in this town was very, very, very heavily cursed. Like, they had done something. What they do is people will often break one of the 10 commandments, or they will break something in the Word of God or in the law of Moses, and they will build the curse based upon that one thing to put it over the cat. And sometimes it's to hide it from everybody else or certain people. Or I've seen where it seems like a cat maybe bit somebody one time and they cursed the crap out of it. Okay, this cat that I just saw, okay, the second one was really bad. It's in one of my books, so you'll see it. But the third one I just came across, okay, and it's in the second lap of Gathering Room second lap. And this one, it was almost as if God sent the cat my way, and that could have been the same thing with all of them. But, well, it generally is. God, if there's a cursed cat, God will send it your way if you have a hedge, and you can properly heal it. Okay, so what happened with this last one was I ran a DoorDash order to this person's house, and I came up to the door, and the cat was sitting on the railing. Okay, like it just jumped up there and just knew I was coming. And I was like, oh great, I'm getting the toaster oven again. Here we go. Like, here we go, dog. We're getting the toaster oven again. So I go up to the cat, and I didn't pet the cat. I let it sniff me, but it was in my hedge. So I learned from the second cat that some animals, even with a hedge, you have an issue with, where you can't, you have to be very gentle. So don't be so abrasive where you go up and pet him and walk away, or you're going to go through a whole bunch of crap, and it's on you really, really hard, okay? If your hedge is big enough, you might be able to do that, but generally what I will do is I will build a very subtle, soft, not something that's abrasive on the edges. So I'm not reading like Matthew and then Nehemiah, and I'm just hitting it with a wall. That's not what I do with animals. So what I do with animals is I will read. John is a very gentle blanket hedge. So a Matthew John hedge, and just being around the vicinity of the animal will cause the animal to, first, the spell work will pull off of them into your hedge, and you can just rebuke it off and fight it off of you. And you can just go around the animal and then go home and read any books of the Bible, really. I would probably read like John and then go read John again. So the spell works in your hedge, and then you drop another book in there to set it over it, and it smashes all that spell work and gets rid of it. That's an easy way to do it. You can also, if you're underneath a curse, okay, you can, and you have a hedge up, you can fight those spells with codes, okay? Certain codes that you pick up. So if you were underneath a curse and you got cursed with certain things and you have these codes, you can use them, okay? I haven't gone into codes yet. They're not biblical. But the reason that I'm going to is because there's people that are stuck under curses that are losing their freaking minds. And it's easier if you don't have a hedge, and I would recommend building one or at least reading the Bible, but if you can use codes to get through it too until you build a hedge, that helps really well. You can go to church, I would recommend. Go to the cemetery. Go to holy grounds, okay? But that's for a whole other thing. What I witnessed with this cat, okay, was I came around it and I let it sniff me, okay? I didn't touch it, but I let it sniff me. And I noticed there was like scratch spells, bite spells, different like animations and emotions of a cat that maybe somebody took off of like a Tidy Cats container and cast it over the cat. And they built this curse over the cat, okay? And when I almost cried, and I haven't cried in years, okay? And I almost cried when I saw this cat, because this cat, it meowed at me like it was like in desperation. And it was a very weird thing, because I can, with dogs and cats, horses, chickens are different. I've only healed one batch of chickens, and that was very strange. They had some sort of a possessive spirit casted over them that was a collective demonic thing. We'll go over that later. But horses are different. We'll get over that. We'll get to that. I'll probably end up healing horses and doing that whole type of thing. But a lot of people are like, I can heal my own horse. That's fine. Just read the Bible and do it, and it's a lot more effective, okay? You're gonna be struggling less while you're doing it. And people may say I'm right. People may shake their fist at me. That's okay. You have a problem with God. That's your fault. So this cat though had this like meow of suffering, which is very strange to say, okay? Like it had this crackly sound in its voice, like it almost like you would see like a dehydrated cat walking through a desert. But I could tell by the look on its face, I could tell by the look in its eyes that it was cursed. And I'm in a cursed town. It's a long story right now because my books aren't even out and all that stuff. So it's like, well, some of them are. A lot of them are in editing. A lot of them are in publishing. So it's like, well, they're out there. They're just not out there yet. They're not marketed. So with this cat, I probably won't see this cat again, okay? And I could have just pet the cat and gone through all of it and bow, bow, bow. And it's like, well, I learned my lesson from that second cat when I was like, well, you know, sometimes Mittens looks like a beautiful cat, but Mittens could have a curse on him, and it's really hard, okay? Especially if you don't have a hedge. You'll feel like your brain took a punch if you, it's hard to explain, okay? But you will only find this in places that are cursed, okay? And why do they do this? Where did this all originate? This is why I don't like Halloween, okay? I don't like Halloween because of the whole, I'm wearing a mask, but I have a mask underneath it. I don't like the wickedness of the holiday. But I do not like that, for some reason, the image of the black scary cat in front of the moon seems to be this like thing where people that are like doing witchcraft think that it's okay to curse an animal. That is so screwed up, dude. And some people laugh about it, okay? Where they're like, oh yeah, it's funny. It's not funny, dude. When you go through it, people think it's funny that they put other people through it, but they don't understand what they're actually doing to their own animal. If you curse your own animal, you shouldn't be a pet owner. You shouldn't own an animal if you're cursing them. If a cat bit you and you're angry about it and you decide to do witchcraft at it, you're better off handing that cat off to somebody else and not owning an animal, because that's screwed up, okay? What I just went through with this last cat wasn't nearly as bad as the second one. The first one was easy. It just came up and rubbed on me, loved me, and I was full of hair, and I was like, okay, here we go. But this one was, I was attacked by the dark practitioner after the second cat that I fed it. I didn't pet it. And I got attacked like freaking mad, dude. In my sleep, in the astral, like I was hit by all this stuff. I'm like, great, here we go. So I was hit with a massive amount of stuff, okay? A massive amount of stuff. This last one was like bite spells, claw spells. I could go through a nightmare tonight. I could go through a whole bunch of stuff, okay? I don't know. I'll read the Bible before I go to bed. I have a hedge versus the second cat. I'm pretty sure I had a hedge up for all 3 of them. But the second one was like so bad. Like, it was almost like I got cooked by if there was a cat that was like static from a microwave or something, that's what it felt like. Like I got hit with this just massive, just huge curse over this cat. Never saw it. Oh, I saw it a couple times after that. Didn't feed it though. I was like, no, bro, we ain't playing. Like we're not playing. It came around my hedge, and it came around my car. I was sitting there eating I was eating like a taco at night or something like that. I was out working. But this last one, if you acquire a cat from the Humane Society that you know is probably cursed because it can have behavioral issues along with spell work. So you'll have things where you see like scratch marks that'll like spiritually hit you, then you know that it's got a scratch spell over it or some sort of spell. I'm sure there's stupid stuff online that people do, okay? So if you acquire a cat from the Humane Society, read the Bible and retrain it. To build a hedge is 3 years. That's going to take you a while. I would recommend it because if you do have a cursed cat and you have a hedge around, generally they will be like latched to you, dude. Like a cat that gets cursed or a dog that gets cursed, because I've dealt with the dog too. And there was one dog that was more just older and just mad. But dogs are kind of the same way. They just act a little different where they are very clingy. I lifted a curse off a dog and that dog was all over me, dude. Like he would not leave me alone. Like I was trying to get work done and I was doing, physical labor, and that dog was like doing figure eights through my legs and stuff. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, hold on, chill out. And I didn't have a hedge at that time. So that was one that was different where that dog kind of just drew to me for some reason. And I, deal with the situation type of thing with what I know. So what else can you do? Well, I would avoid using things like obsidian around animals, okay? And why am I saying that? Because I don't know if you use obsidian on an animal that could drastically shorten their life. I don't know what those side effects are for an animal, okay? I don't use arrowheads. I don't use any of that. It's complicated. What I do know is that there's people that curse cows and they curse other things and this and that, like livestock, and it's really not smart, dude. It's loud. It's spiritually loud. It's the animals suffering from demonic attacks. It's really bad. Like, you have to be really sick and twisted to do something like that, okay? Beyond a state of mental reprobation that is at the farthest degree that I've seen. To do it to an animal, a harmless animal that's walking around looking for cat food and enjoying its life. It is a simple animal, but cats and dogs and animals are spiritual. Why do I say this, okay? I have cats that have flocked to me. When I first met my girlfriend, my girlfriend had has a cat that had a death curse over it. And I don't know who had done it, and it could be the person that sold the cat to her from another town. But the cat had a death curse on it. And it was it wasn't very deep. The curse was mainly just like a death curse that was over it, like it was almost like a witch was being playful with witchcraft, and I'm just going to death curse my cat. And it's like, me. And it wasn't like she built this entire huge curse built off of like a murder or stole something and slammed it on the cat. The person may have broken a commandment, but I don't think it was a commandment. I think it was more of they just casted a spell over it. So a lot of people will break a commandment and then they will build a curse over the animal. That's not smart. Here's the reason. If there's a person who has cursed a cat and that curse gets broken over that cat, that owner cannot own that cat anymore. The dark practitioner cannot own that cat anymore. Why? Because they automatically have a possession over their spirit to murder the animal. That's what I've seen through my lens all over from where I've worked, where I'm like, dude, these people, like, they get pissed off about it and they freaking rage on this animal. And it's like, they make it worse. They abuse the cat. They do this. They abuse the dog. And it's bad, okay? It's animal abuse. People, honestly, should probably get their ass beat for that. That's one thing where I'm like, you're cursing people. Yeah, you should probably face some immediate divine judgment. But if you curse a cat, you should probably get your ass beat for it. And I'm just saying that out of the emotional impact that it's had on me through healing animals. That is screwed up, dude. They are a freaking harmless animal. And if they're biting and scratching you, maybe you're doing something to cause it. That maybe your influence on the animal is causing it. And if it's somebody that you just bought the cat and it's scratching you and biting you, you need to figure out how to heal the cat. Or go get a different cat. Like, you don't take it into your own hands to do witchcraft and curse the cat. So its spirit is constantly being attacked. Constantly. Something I noticed about cursed cats and cursed dogs. When the witching hour comes along, they will moan and howl and yelp and roar, 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 all night long. All night long, from 1 to 3 in the morning, they will howl and howl and howl. If you have a hedge up or you're from the light and you heal them, they will come running up onto you and lay on your chest before bed, and you will pet them and they will be fine. They'll go do their thing. That's what I noticed with my walk. That I had cats that were like that. Her cat was like this for a while. She didn't really know why. And I think it was more of like she just thought it was like a characteristic of the cat or something. But the cat was like death cursed underneath a curse, underneath a curse, underneath a curse. So it was like a box and a box and a box and a box like situation. So what I had found was that this cat was tormented. Not just by her own death curse, but by the curse around her and buried in them. So I picked them all up off her, and she's good. But what I did notice is that she would howl. And there was a certain thing that I would do. If I was alone in the house, there's a whistle that I have for cats and dogs, or in horses, where it's like, and they come running right to you after you've already started healing them and lifting it off of you, or off of them, okay? So I will have a certain whistle for each animal. So there was another one, Makwa, that was cursed by some sort of dark practitioner that did it at the Humane Society. Well, before, I'm not saying the Humane Society cursed him. I'm saying the person, some owner did it before, and she was a kitten. Somebody broke her tail and threw a curse over her, and I had a special whistle for her that was like, and she would come running up the stairs, and she wouldn't lay on my chest. She just got started doing that. What she does now is she sits on the edge of the bed, and she will just lean up against my leg, and she's okay. But Ski would do it where she would run up the stairs, and she would lay on me, and she would be all the way up the stairs, lay on me, I'd pet her. Didn't hear anything after that. She'd go to sleep at the edge of the bed, or she'd go wander around and get food, or do it, use the poop box, whatever she was doing. Everything was fine, okay? So there's certain things. I'm probably going to do a lot of this in my ministry, on my page, on my podcast, where I will show people what it's like to heal an animal, okay? And I think that some animal trainers and animal healers may be like, that's not how I do it. That's okay. I'm not telling you to do it a certain way. This is just how it is in my walk. So not only am I a Christian, but I'm a Native American. So I do things a lot differently. I approach animals a lot differently. I carry the spirit of the wolf in me. So there's certain animals that are spooked by me. Like horses, they get freaked out by me at first. They get really weird. For some reason, cats seem to have this thing where it's like the cougar wolf thing, where there's like kind of rub around and run away, and maybe they fight once in a while and they gnaw on me a little bit. But horses do this thing with me where they freak out at first. I had this problem with what do you call those dang horses? The Budweiser horses. I forget what they're called. The big steeds. What are they called? I can't remember at the top of my head. For some reason, it just left me. But I had a horse that was like that horse, it gave me demonic looks where its tongue was hanging out and it was all cross-eyed. I'm not kidding you. And was like looking at me like, I went in there to feed it one day, and I thought it was going to stomp me out or kick me. And it was very, like, it played off of my fear big time. And it almost like the curse over the animal, there was a seed of fear put in the animal, that the seed of fear in the animal wanted to put a seed of fear into you. And I think that there's something about that, where somebody put a seed of fear in the animal, and the animal is possessed in a way to try and put the seed of fear into you. If you have a hedge and you have faith in Jesus, you have faith in God, and for me as a native, a horse can try and put a seed of fear into me. I'm grounded in my boundary stone and in the book, so I'm crossing the feather, bro. So my thing is, like, the horses that I came across, there was one of them, the big one, the big steed was not. That was a really difficult one, and I did not heal that animal until the day that I left. That was the day when the animal was broken of it, where I noticed that it would just stand there all day and just stare off, like it wouldn't do anything. It wouldn't do anything. Like, it would just stare off, and feeding time, here you go, and it would feed and then just stand there out in the mud and just stare. And after I got done, it would kind of do laps around and, its pen. And, it would lay down, and it would do all this other stuff. And I'm like, well, what's up with that? That's really weird. Like, the horse completely changed at me. No more weird faces. And I was like, what's up with that? Like, it would stick its face out the pen after I'd go in there and feed it and run out of there. And it would give me this face like, I put this seed of fear in you. And it was like, yeah, it did, because it's freaking, looks like a 12-story building with hooves. And you're like, I don't know about that one, bro. You big. A horse in general is one thing, but you got the big Budweiser horse. Look out. So I went through that one, and for some reason, I didn't have a hedge at the time, but I was in the light, I was in the Word, and I went and cleaned his stall. And that horse did not want me touching his stall, bro. He was pissed. And what he sat there and he stared at me, and he was like, you keep mucking this stall, like I'm gonna walk in there and stomp you out, bro. And I was looking at it like, I just need to get the poop in this wheelbarrow, and you get the hay in there, I'm out of here for the day. And that was the most daunting animal I ever healed, other than the cursed cat that fried me like a microwave. But that was a really weird one. There was 2 female mares that I healed. This was before I had a hedge, but I was in the Word, and I was in spirit heavily. These 2 mares, that they wouldn't come near anybody but the owner. So men, they did not like men. I'm not saying they were sexist horses. I'm saying that they were probably abused by a man before she got the horses. So before she got the horses, they were probably abused by a male. So they immediately sniff out your chemical drive, and they stay away from you. And I would feed you a carrot, and I took the day to brush them, brush their faces and all that, and clean them up. And I'm like, oh, you look good. I don't know what I'm doing, but, oh, you look great. And it was cool. And there was another one that was really weird, because there was a male horse that I healed. I went through a lot with this other horse where it like latched to me, and you could see that it had some sort of a demon that was casted into it. I don't know if it was casted into it or something really screwed up happened to it in its past, and the scars of the animal caused the darkness to work through it. So you could see it was like, sometimes it like looked like it wanted to stomp me out, and sometimes it was like, I want that carrot, bring that carrot back. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll bring you a carrot, we'll see how that goes. But there was a point where I healed the dog, and I could hear the demon that was in the horse basically chattering, saying that it wanted to stomp out the dog. And I was like, oh, hold on a second, like, that dog's cool, like, you good, like, you don't need to be stomping nobody out. Well, I went into its pen, okay? And this was the scary part, was when I went into the pen, and there was no cover, it was an open pen. And this horse was, like, kicking, not at me, at the other person that was in the pen with me. Like, the horse was trying to protect me from the other person or something. I was like, what's up with that? Like, it was like seriously bucking, like kicking in the air, but it was doing this thing. This was after I rebuked the demon out of the horse, but I was heavily in the book of Matthew when I did it. And I rebuked the demon out of the horse and healed it with carrots, and I brushed that horse's face every day. And I stayed out by that pen. And when I was out by that pen, that horse was just like, like right over the fence, like, love. I want your love. Nothing but your love. And those carrots. And some more love. And I'm like, jeez. So, I bonded with this horse, okay? I haven't seen the horse since. I haven't been out there. It's not my horse, okay? But, the thing is, when I went into its pen and there was somebody else around me that wasn't in the word, what did I notice? This horse was pinning me up against the fence with its body. Not like it was trying to kill me or strangle me against the fence, but it was like super overprotective of me. Like, it was like, I will stand in the way of any harm that could come your way. And I was like, well, what's up with that? Is darkness working through that person? But not really. I mean, the person wasn't in the light, but they weren't like, bent, like, doing the horse thing at me. They were doing this thing that, like, the horse, after I healed the horse, it understood light and dark in the proximity that was in it. So, if you break a curse or rebuke a demon that is in a horse, or you heal, if you heal wounds on an animal, it will be super overprotective of you. The dog running figure eights, the horse pinning me against the fence. Well, it was kind of like, dude, you gotta back off a few feet, man. I gotta breathe here. I'm trying to clean your stall. So it was one of those things where I was like, well, dang, bro, like, yeah. It was one of those things where I was like, horses were I think that I'm going to get used to doing horses more. But horses were extremely daunting to me. There was another one that was in Oregon that was not far from here. That was a black and white horse, I believe it was, okay? I think it was all black, but it had a little bit of white to it. This horse was extremely skittish of anybody, not just males and females, but anybody. Like, you would have to throw the hay over the fence in a certain area and be a certain distance away before the horse would go and even eat. Like, you could see it, and it was like, okay, well, how do I fix that? Well, I tried reaching my hand over and doing that. And it was like a couple days of like reaching and like talking to the horse. So I spoke to the horse. And I was like, you're very gorgeous. Like, they understand English. Horses and animals aren't dumb. They understand English, okay? They communicate within their own way. So, I believe horses communicate telepathically with each other. So they understand each other. They have a certain language that's physical and spiritual. So they understand each other. So if you speak English to a horse or a dog and a cat, that is a form of gaining some sort of trust. So I tried the carrot, I tried the hay, I tried everything. The horse wouldn't come to me. And I didn't just like expect for me to hop on the horse and ride into the Alamo with a shotgun and go Wild West. It wasn't like that. It was mainly I was trying to figure out why the horse wouldn't come near me and would only go near the food if I was 50 feet away and on my way out of the vicinity. So it came down to a point where I was able to take a chunk of the hay off, like an eighth of the bale, and I would, well, not bale, but the chunk of hay, and stick it over the fence, and the horse would grab it from me and set it down. And she would eat in front of me. She was like, okay, like this guy's cool. And a lot of it was I don't think that horse lacked social interaction for a very long time. And it was an abandonment or neglect that horse had that I was trying to figure out. And the owner didn't neglect it necessarily. But it was like the horse was sectioned off from all the other horses because she was the only female in the stable. So they kept the females and the males separate, so they didn't want to mate or anything like that. So it was very strange to me because I was like, well, what's up with that? So you're isolated. You have scars on you, maybe from not being ridden, or maybe being more of a free horse than caged and not having any interaction. Maybe there's no ball in the pen. Maybe there's something about horses that people who raise them would probably understand me and go, okay, like they need to be socially structured in a way where, well, look at a wild horse that you have to tame, okay? Think about the Wild West days. You catch a horse with a rope and you have to try and ride that thing until it just gets comfortable with you. Like, maybe there was a better way of doing it that the natives figured out. The natives knew that if I dig into the light, and I live in the light, and this is before Jesus Christ hit the land. And what I mean by that is he already hit the land, but his message hadn't spread to North America. But I do believe that the natives understood the Great Spirit, and I believe that they understood that he had a son. I think. I'm still looking into that. But how did the Native Americans cultivate light within their spirit? the way they treated the land and the way they treated others and around them, okay? So they lived in a peaceful state, but in a way that the Great Spirit, that God would approve of, so that he favors that versus all-out violence and war, okay? So there was something about the righteousness and wickedness of how the Native Americans lived that they were able to tame horses more easily, okay? What did I figure out about that, okay? I have run more with a biblical standpoint, but for some reason with horses I'm on this native boundary stone with them where I can understand them and they can kind of understand me, where they're like, well, he's a wolf, but something about you, I can trust you, but you got to leave me a couple carrots and pet me and brush my face and do all this. And there was biblical to it as well, but there was something about my Native American heritage from Cherokee, Oklahoma, that caused that to be a lot more of a less abrasive approach and a very peaceful spirit, okay? So you may have some people that are very abrasive, and animals don't like that. Something with dogs, they like see me as a dog. Like, I don't understand what that is, but like dogs, they could be not just cursed, but dogs in general, they see me as like, he's kind of like a dog, but he's got legs and arms. I'm like, what's up with that? So they came up, like, dogs will come to me no problem. I'll pet them. Sometimes the owner gets mad and I'm like, the dog just came to me. I don't know why. But dogs will come up to me and sniff around me. And it's not like I'll see certain dogs. There was a dog in my past that was a huge Mastiff Rottweiler. Big freaking dog. And that dog would roar, roar, like it was like a monster, dude, and wanted to break down the doors and go ham. That dog loved me. And that dog was just, she was a sweetheart, but she was ferocious with some people. And I noticed it was like, I had to see the fear in me because the dog was a freaking dinosaur. Like a dinosaur. But for some reason that seed of fear went away. The more the dog would just climb up and cuddle on me. And I'm like, I have like a gigantic dog cuddling on me that's like 10 times my weight, dude. This dog was freaking, not really, but it was big. So it saw me like a dog. Because the other humans that were around them, well, she would sniff them and love up on them, and okay, I'm going to go eat my food and I'll go outside. This dog was like, wanted to like snuggle up, and I'm like, well, like, you're a big dog, like, over there, like, if this were to go bad, you could like chew on my leg like a pterodactyl bone, like, I'm in deep crap, dude. And the dog was cool. Dogs and cats were the early stages for me. That one where I'm like, there's something that's a really interesting connection there that I don't understand. I seek to, though. But there's something about, I speak to horses and dogs and cats. I speak to them in Cherokee language. So I'll speak to them in colors first. So like when I first met Makwa, I called her my Utana Makwa Kahi, which is my big bear cat. So she's got the bear paws, and she was kind of like, huh? I didn't really understand it, but she grew on it. And then I started calling her Emilio, which was kind of funny. I don't know why. It was just a name where I was like, for some reason I'm going to call you Emilio for right now. And then you changed to Makwa again, and Yona, and all this. I'm like, I don't know. It's interesting, okay? So, dogs, I don't just speak to them, okay? But I speak to them in native language. So I will speak to them in ways where they will understand me, not like they understand everybody else, but it's almost like it's an ingrained click where they, for some reason, deep in their blood, they understand it. Even if they hear it and they're kind of like, we don't know what that means, there's something in their blood that touches your blood where you understand it. It's something that's so deeply driven that goes back to the Native American heritage, that goes down to a Native Indian and Waya. Like there's a wavelength there where there was a friendship that was built that was even though a lot of natives may say that wolves are meant to be left alone, I do think that for some reason there was a relationship that was built there that happened one time in human history that carries on throughout time. So cats, I don't know what's up with cats, dude. Cats, I have this thing where they just come to me and they're like, hey, and I'm like, I don't really know, dude, but you seem very friendly where you're afraid of a lot of people. So I'm like, well, I don't really know. But cats are different. Dogs have this boundary stone connection with me that I can easily heal them. I can easily come to them. They can easily come to me. And it's almost like this touch of like, there was something that I've seen and felt in me that is like, when you heal a dog from a curse or wounds, the first time that a Native American was able to make physical contact with a wolf, not like I was in your vicinity, but I fed you from my hand a little bit, I gave you gratitude, and you went on your way. I don't know. That's a very weird thing, but when a dog will come to me like that, that hits me. Where it's something repetitive that happened in human history the first time, it happened over and over and over again, and then it built between the blood bond spiritually. Like, for some reason, there are certain type of dogs that are like small yappy dogs that are rah, 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 they won't stop. I'm like, I don't know, dude, you're not on my pant legs, don't know what's going on. But like middle-sized dogs, huskies are one that I'm still trying to figure out. Huskies are interesting, but I don't remember what breed this last dog was, but it had wolf in it. You could see that there was wolf lineage within that dog, where you're like, you haven't just been raised around a bunch of, like, your lineage isn't a bunch of, wiener dogs or something. Okay, and wiener dogs are cool too, but your lineage, you have that native blood drop in you that's in me. That connection of wolf, of Waya and native. There's something there that's it's something that's established between the animal, the human, the drop of blood, and like the eagle feather or crow feather or feathers in general, where there's something there that you can touch that I'm seeking to understand it more the more I'm healing animals. But I'm kind of going off on one. I'm going to do more of healing animals. I might be doing it in season 4. I don't know. This is still the interlude. I'm still like, what's going on? I'm trying to get my tent and get up out of here. I don't really know what's going on. So, I'm probably going to make the relaxing water video that just goes through it'll be a clip out of Silver Falls. Probably a few of them that kind of calm you down and relax you. Kind of like ASMR, but it's not people going and smacking things. It's more of natural water. Water will do something to you that you don't understand. And there's a connection between animals and humans and humans and humans and animals through water. That it's life that God has provided on this. It's a life source on this planet that God has provided. The Great Spirit, God, Jesus has provided. That you can tap in and go, huh. Like, that's a very... Like... Here's something that I started to realize. For some reason, I could put my hand in water, okay? In natural running water. And someone that I am maybe even a little bit connected to can put their hand in the same water, and it feels like we spiritually touched hands. For some reason, after that, everything's comfortable. I don't really know what that's about. It's spiritual. It's not so much of biblical, okay? But it's heritage driven. That I'm grasping and using it in my ministry along with it, because I have the cross. I walk with Jesus. I believe it. Old Testament, New Testament, hands down. The old ways are important. You don't move an ancient boundary stone, okay? And that can mean many things, okay? But that's what it means for me. So I see that as it is extremely important to add that to my ministry, because that allows me to do certain things. God has gifted me spiritually with certain gifts from what's in me. So until next time, Lone Wolf, peace.